So let me begin by introducing our village president, Jim Burket. He was elected in 2025. He's a 30-year plus resident of Glen Ellyn. And he has served our community in a number of ways. He's been a village trustee. He's been the chairman of the Architectural Review Commission. Correct. A member of the board of directors of the Glen House Food Pantry. Correct. And a founder and president of the Tour of Lake Ellyn Foundation, which raises money for nonprofits in the community?
Primarily the food pantry, but other ones also.
Okay.
Smaller, most of it goes to the food pantry.
Pretty impressive, correct? Okay, he attended Elmhurst University and currently is a senior risk management consultant and branch officer manager for a New York City financial firm?
Correct.
Here in Chicago?
Yes.
Right? Okay. All right, and I'm going to introduce Mark Franz, who is our village manager. I'd like to welcome him. He's been our village manager since 2011. He holds a master's degree in public administration from Northern Illinois, and he has decades of municipal management experience. And as manager, he oversees daily village operations and implements policies set by the village board. He also stole my parking space the other day. So I don't know if I want to welcome him. But
I'll be forgiven in a couple years.
Exactly. So these are our two speakers. I would also like to take a minute to ask anyone who has an elected office to please stand and introduce yourself. I know Donna Jean is here. I'm going to pick on you because I know you. Can you stand up? All right, Donna Jean. All right. Is there anyone else that I have missed that holds a public office? Yes. All right, then I'm going to turn it over to you, Mr. Burket. All right. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Two things. Instead of yelling at me that you can't hear me like my family does and my coworkers do, if you just go like that, I'll say, okay, I need to push more air out of the... Christy, yeah, go ahead. Christy, you guys know Christy. First off, good evening to everyone. I hope your holidays were spectacular. I hope you've taken your tree and lights down because it is that time. I want to thank y'all for coming out. It's not a spectacular night. I really want to thank the Glen Ellyn League of Women Voters for presenting this event tonight. My name is Jim Burket. I am village president of Glen Ellyn, and I'd like to welcome you to the 2026 State of the Village presentation. Most of you who know me understand that my powers of memorization passed long ago and ruined my chances of enjoying what I feel would have been a very, very successful film career. So if it seems that I'm reading prepared comments, you're 100% correct on that. So I'm not memorizing any of this. I'm also joined today, as he's already been introduced, by Manager Franz, and you'll hear from him shortly. And when he takes over, I promise you will be in capable hands. Yes. All right. Today's presentation is really about taking a step back and looking at where Glen Ellyn is right now, the people who make it work, the progress we've made, and all of the things that continue to make it such a special place to live, work, and visit. We got it. Before we get into that, we've already seen Donna Jean, Sonia Bogwalker, Kelly Christensen, Bob Duncan, Kelly Kalinich, and Steve Thompson, as well as our village clerk, Karen Cosby. Some of them may be here with us tonight, which they are, only one. So together the board works to listen to our residents, businesses, and visitors and make thoughtful decisions that serve the best interests of Glen Ellyn, both today and in the future. One thing that continues to set us apart from is the civic engagement of our residents. We do not take the nickname of Village of Volunteers lightly. Currently, we have nearly 100 resident volunteers serving on our advisory boards and commissions, everything from planning and zoning to finance, environmental initiatives, historic preservation, as well as public safety. These volunteers give up their time, volunteer their expertise and their perspective to help guide important decisions that keep our local government responsive and accountable. If you've ever wondered how you can get more involved in the village, this is one of the best ways to do it. Yes, the commissions are always happy to welcome new faces, and the commission application can be found on our website under the Government tab, and it can be filled out online and submitted. It's very simple to do.
And President Burket, there's probably 6, 7, 8 of the volunteers in the audience tonight. So.
And if you are here, can you raise your hand so we can see who serves on a commission, on a board? To Todd. Yes, Christy, thank you. Next one.
Sorry about that.
There you go. All right, at its core, the state of the village really comes down to 3 key focus areas: our people, our continued financial strength, and the quality of life that we enjoy. First and foremost are our people: residents, businesses, volunteers, village staff, community partners. None of what you'll see and hear tonight happens without their combined involvement. Glen Ellyn continues to enjoy passionate and involved residents who don't mind rolling up their sleeves and giving their time to help others. Second is our financial stability. Strong planning, responsible management, diverse revenue sources, low debt, and solid reserves continue to allow us to invest wisely while protecting our taxpayers. And third, our quality of life. Glen Ellyn has always set high standards for itself, and our community survey results continue to show that we're meeting and often exceeding those expectations. We enjoy small-town charm with big city amenities, characterized by top-rated schools, low crime, vibrant and varied restaurants and retail, abundant parks and recreational activities, as well as easy access to Chicago, making the village a highly sought-after destination for families and businesses. Engaging with our residents and business community is a top priority of the village. That means delivering high-quality services, communicating clearly, consistently, and transparently, supporting special events throughout town, and completing award-winning projects that improve daily life. It also means strong collaboration with organizations like the Downtown Business Alliance, the Chamber of Commerce, and our neighboring communities and regional partners. And behind all of this is our strong village workforce. Investing in our employees through training, support, long-term planning ensures that Glen Ellyn continues to operate at a consistently high level and remains a top community for those seeking municipal employment. Yep. Financially, Glen Ellyn remains in a very strong position as we head into 2026. We continue to follow high standard management practices with guidance from our Finance Commission. Our municipal financial scorecard shows we compare favorably with our peer communities year after year. Glen Ellyn is entering its 12th year, maintaining a AAA bond rating, something very few municipalities can claim, and we provide transparent reporting through our popular annual financial report and nationally recognized budget and audit awards. These admirable ratings demonstrate our ongoing strong financial management, conservative budgeting, and our significant reserve funds. In short, we plan carefully, spend responsibly, and keep our finances in order. Our residents continue to sing the praises of Glen Ellyn in community surveys that we conduct every 5 years or so. 90% of our residents recommend living in Glen Ellyn to friends, family, and those seeking roots in our community. An astounding 94% of us report that we feel safe living within the village. Police and emergency services continue to be rated excellent or good by 90% of our residents. Walkability, the quality of our business community, our overall reputation all score extremely high, and economic development saw significant improvements in 2025. Glen Ellyn is consistently described as an excellent place to raise a family, a community with strong engagement, and a village with a high quality of life. And that is something we can all be proud of. All of this progress brings us to an important point. What comes next? Glen Ellyn is currently developing the 2026 through 2030 strategic plan, which will build on the priorities and successes of the past 5 years and help guide decisions down the road. This is where I'm going to turn things over to someone who knows this work inside and out. Manager Franz will walk you through where we've been and where we're headed and how the strategic plan will help shape the next chapter in the Village of Volunteers. Mark, come on up and do a better job.
Good evening, everybody. Thanks again for having us out. Jim mentioned the strategic plan. We've had some good success with the last strategic plan, accomplishing some, or at least in the process of accomplishing about 80 different action items under a bunch of different categories. These are the categories from 2020 to 25. And again, the process for a new plan has already begun. We've had one visioning session, a couple more scheduled, and hopefully we'll have the plan rolled out here in the next few months. So let me just touch on some of the strategic issues we've been working on the last 5 years. Jim covered some of these, but just in a little bit more detail. He mentioned the AAA bond rating, one of only 32 municipalities in Illinois. There's only 1,200 nationally. Our debt position is very strong. We've had successful budget awards over the years, balanced for 2026. Just a couple things of note over the last year, the budget. We were surprised, like most municipalities, that the state of Illinois decided to get rid of the 1% local grocery tax that goes 100% towards municipalities. So thank you, state, for not doing anything to impact yourself but hurting us. So we evaluated and moved forward with passing our own local grocery tax. So it's a seamless thing that you didn't even notice come this past January 1st. But that was an important source of revenue for us, and we kept that going. We also spent the last 18 months or so evaluating our water system and evaluating where we have lead in the system, and we are continuing to do that. But the board has dedicated a funding source for what we believe is about a $10 million expense and an unfunded mandate to get rid of the lead. So we're on a long-term plan to do just that. So those are a couple things that we have really spent a lot of time on over the last year in terms of budget. Grants. This is something that the board certainly wants us to tap into as much as possible, and we've had some success, particularly on the infrastructure kind of line item. We've gotten a number of grants from our state legislator. Senator Allman was able to find $1.1 million. Our train station and pedestrian tunnel, which we'll talk more about, we've earmarked about $25 million so far, still looking for additional funds that we think we're eligible for. Our engineering department does a great job of tapping into regional transportation dollars. 1.6 million for Ryford or Lambert has been identified, and those projects will commence this year. We've got a $400,000 grant for engineering. One of the most unique grants that we received is a demolition grant from Congressman Ramirez to knock down the beautiful hotel just to our north, which has finally come down. We are really excited about that. It only took 4 or 5 years to accomplish that. So that was that really, yeah, right. That has been a project, and we'll talk a little bit more about that, I guess, in a minute. But being able to find some grant dollars to reimburse us for that, and actually the board purchased that site and took that whole initiative, and kudos to them to have the foresight to take on that risk. But then we actually made our money back. So we'll cover that in a minute too. We're working on a training facility with our volunteer fire company. really want to find a training site that's nearby that they can utilize all the time. We're working with our partners in Lombard, and Representative Costa Howard was able to at least get the process started with a $50,000 grant that we're still working through. And then the McKee House. Everyone know where the McKee House is? We're going to talk a little bit more about that, but we actually had, I think it was $1.5 million grant dedicated to the McKee House from Congressman Ramirez's office again. That went away with the federal funding debacle this last year, but we have secured $300,000 from Representative Blair Sherlock. So we're excited about that for the McKee House, and we'll talk more about a few of these things later. ADA transition plan. This is actually another grant we received. We've long wanted to update our plans for accessibility for everything, for buildings, for sidewalks, for walkability, etc. So we got started with this grant, and we're rolling out that plan over the next couple months. What it allows us to do is then build in these improvements when we do all of our infrastructure work. So important to make sure that we are accommodating people with disabilities, but also, I mean, we got kids, parents with strollers and those types of things. So just improving walkability has been a focus of the board for the last 10 years, probably longer. Back to just the slide we always show, just to kind of highlight how the property tax dollar is spent. The school districts don't have the diversity of revenue that the municipality has with sales tax and utility taxes and food and beverage tax. They rely solely on property taxes primarily. So they're about 3/4 of the tax dollar. The village is under 7% of your property tax dollars. That doesn't mean we're not going to get a few phone calls that says, do you know that our property taxes are too high? We'll accept those calls. We always do. Workforce and operations, like many organizations over the last couple of years, really struggled with retention, and the Great Resignation hit almost every department that we endured over a 2 or 3 year period. We've come a long way. We are fully staffed on the EMS side in the fire company. We were fully staffed in police for a bit, and now we're chasing a couple vacancies. But across the organization, we have really focused a lot on workforce development, engagement with employees, retention, because it's the most important asset we have is our employees. Development. We've been showing a slide like this for some time, so just wanted to kind of identify some of the key initiatives. Many of these were funded by a relatively new food and beverage tax that was approved, and we've done a number of things outside of the downtown. If you remember, Baker Hill was a vacant Dominick's. There are still vacant Dominick's around that towns are really struggling with. We were able to get Pete's Market in there, and one of the things that kind of encouraged them to come was making an important infrastructure improvement, making a left turn going eastbound on Roosevelt Road. That was a key project. Taylor Street underpass. It wasn't that long ago when that sidewalk was in the underpass. I'm not sure how that was ever considered safe, but getting that out of the roadway, and then we added a nice mural that I think everyone really enjoys. So I think and that was funded completely by grants, or I think about 80% by grants as well. Panfish Park, we've recently strengthened our partnership with the Park District. I'll touch on that a couple different times tonight. But they are now, we leased that park to them, this park to them. And we think that, the Park District does a great job maintaining parks. That's not our specialty. The Village Links have been maintaining this for decades. We're really hopeful that the Park District can take it up a notch and invest. They've replaced their tot lot just on Harding, and doing some other improvements. We did a little public art project. I think I'll touch on that in a minute. But just making sure that we're making the investment in the parks and getting the Park District to help us meet those goals has been a focus over the last couple of years. Hotel property, again, we'll talk about that in a little bit more detail, but The eastern site sold to a commercial developer, the same developer that owns the Chipotle, Starbucks. They now own that property, so they're going to keep that commercial. And then the western portion will be sold, will be closed on very soon, next couple weeks, to Full Circle Communities to bring affordable housing, 42 units, I believe, to the community. So, and again, we were able to recoup our $2.5 million investment with the grant for the demolition and being paid for this property, so it really turned out to be kind of a win-win. And then McKee House Preservation is another project outside of the downtown that we're trying to focus on, trying to get grant funds to fund and make that improvement. In the downtown, we haven't done a major investment in the infrastructure in downtown since the early 80s. So this has been a huge focus over the last 4 or 5 years. And we created a TIF district, and we really wanted to see public-private investment. And I think it's come together fairly well. The first project was the Avera project by the library, 48-unit residential, filled up really quickly. I think that that project, I think they finished that during COVID. And went on the market, and they've really had a lot of success. We built the parking garage during COVID, and really something that has been talked about for decades is a parking garage. Took the board approved a very substantial investment. It's worked out very well. Really serves the business community well. Thinks it's going to serve commuters even more in the future, and meets all the civic center needs as well. Apex 400 came online. That is 107 units, 2 commercial spaces. We finally got a restaurant in that corner, MK Steakhouse. Who's been to MK Steakhouse so far? Got to check it out. It's really high-end, nice, great meal, good ambiance. We're excited to finally have somebody in that corner retail. Glenwood Station just came online this year. It is 86 rental units. We're waiting for a little commercial coffee shop to open up. 2 of those units are affordable housing mandated by the village. So we're excited that project got completed during a really tough time for developers with soaring prices and coming out of the pandemic. A really difficult time to build, but those guys were very good partners. Streetscape improvement, we'll talk about that, and the train station a little bit. And then the other major investment coming in the downtown is the former U.S. Bank site that the village bought, sold to the Park District this year. And again, another great example of a partnership with the Park District, hoping to bring an event space, pavilion, and just kind of activate that part of the downtown right next to the train station and bring more events downtown, maybe take some of the events off of our streets so we can drive on our streets. So we're excited about that, maybe as early as this year. Glenwood Station kind of covered this, but a $35 million private investment opened up this year, and I think they're 80 to 90% occupied. And again, we got that retail space hopefully open up on Glenwood in the months ahead. Another initiative of the village over the last couple of years, actually, probably been on the list of things to do for a lot longer than that, and that is modernize our permitting process. So we spent a lot of time and effort and funds to purchase what's called Llama, and it's a seamless automated system that will allow us to better manage the permitting, allow folks to apply online, get answers online, schedule inspections and pay online, as well as a number of other things. So we've got special events that are in Llama. We've got business registration in Llama. So a lot of things are tied into this software system that I think is going to make us a lot more efficient long-term, and really appreciate the board for supporting a really sizable investment to get that done. Infrastructure. Is that a great picture or what? That was kind of a painful time. But I do want to thank, President Burket and I were at the Chamber this week, and every time I show the slide, I want to thank the businesses for working through this, staying open, all of you shopping in these stores during this time, because it was a painful time for everybody, but I think it turned out great. We've made some really great improvements. Again, hadn't been invested in since the 80s. It was really time to do a lot of street and sidewalk work, but we also replaced a lot of utilities, and we shouldn't have to be back in the downtown in anything to that level for a very long time. The one project we did take on this year is the Glenwood parking lot. Got it done this fall for the most part. Still got to do turn the lights on, but a nice little improvement that ties into the rest of the downtown. And we need those parking lots everywhere we have them. Train station and pedestrian tunnel. So we've been talking about this for a few years. Really a complicated project because of all the parties involved. We got Metro, UP. We're working on grants through the feds and the state. So it's been a really slow process, but we're making steady progress. The pedestrian underpass would go under connect Forest Avenue in essence. So what we've been saying all along is there's a benefit from a commuter safety standpoint, so people can get both sides of the tracks very easily and safely, but also ties north and south together. I envision that once this is in and people start utilizing it, you'd feel comfortable parking on the south side of the tracks and walking under the tunnel to the movie theater, for example, and shopping in those businesses that don't have a lot of parking right there. So I think there's some really tangible benefits to this project, and again, it will give us a new train station that is antiquated, and then tie in the fourth phase of the streetscape all at the same time. Been very successful in getting $25 million earmarked, but we are still looking for some more funds to make this this project feasible. Downtown Event Park. So a lot of work went into the design. Both the Village Board and Park District Board unanimously approved the design. So this is kind of Duane Street here, Pavilion, train station over here. So a great little common area. They've got plans to put a real ice skating rink in there every winter. They're looking for donations to help with a couple elements of this, but it's going to be a great event space and really bring more people downtown to come listen to music, then go to the restaurants, tie everything together. So really excited about this. I think they're open bids and they're going to approve a bid to get at least first phase of this project going this year. So excited about that. Back to Roosevelt Road, just a hotel again. It's been 5 years of a process. Village Board took the foresight to buy the property because it wasn't being developed on its own, and then working through a very long process to get public input. Took about 6, 7, 8 months to go through a charrette and different ideas for the site, and then we went to market, tried to match those ideas as best with what the proposals we received. And we landed on, commercial again on the east side, full circle on the west side. Excited to see this come to fruition. And again, showing that $2.85 million all in. We covered the cost of this project. So happy that risk ultimately paid off. Some new businesses. I mentioned MK Steakhouse, but always excited to bring new businesses in. And we work with the Downtown Alliance, the Chamber, various partners to try to encourage folks to make investments in our commercial districts. So those are just a few of the projects that came in 2025. And then in terms of coming soon, Complimentary Cafe is the cafe that's going into Glenwood Station. Starbucks going next to Andy's. Not sure what the second Starbucks on Roosevelt Road is going to do necessarily, but we want our coffee everywhere. One of the ones we're most excited about is Maplewood Brewery. Anyone heard of Maplewood Brewery in Logan Square? Yeah. Great brewery. They're coming out to take the Two Hound Red site, hoping to be open in April. The board just approved some signage requests for them. And then Vintage Charm and Four Sons, two real good retail businesses going into the bike shop. Hopefully hopefully in the next few months. So really good additions to our business community. All right, so just talking a little bit about economic incentives, there's a little bit of a misnomer about, how much the village is really involved in bringing specific businesses to specific sites. We don't really control who's going to go where. Sometimes brokers and property owners, want to work with the village. Sometimes they don't tell us anything and they handle it themselves. But we do try to create some incentives to get the right kind of businesses in and to make investments. So this is just a little summary of what happened in 2025. Kind of captures how, with 21% of the private investment, we get 79%. I'm sorry, public investment, we get 79% of private investment. So in terms of dollars, we're providing $300,000 in awards and getting, $1.1 million in private investment. So that's a good measure of, hey, these incentives are doing what they're supposed to do, and that is encourage more investment. So we've got the facade program, we got downtown interior awards, we got a fire prevention award, we got a beautification award, we had a construction grant for those businesses that saw a big dip because of the construction. That's something I haven't heard of in other communities. The village board wanted to make sure we support the businesses through this, so I think we've been pretty progressive in trying to support businesses in the downtown and throughout the commercial districts. Effective governance. We did a lot of various projects under this umbrella. We did a housing study. There's a regional affordable housing problem. Actually, it's national, maybe international, but certainly something that we wanted to focus on, give ourselves some more ideas of how we can help with those challenges. We pulled a lot of the goals into our comprehensive plan. I'm sure we're going to move some of them over to our strategic plan. But we did have some success. I mentioned the Glenwood Station, 2 units were incorporated into that project, and then the full circle with 42 units of supportive housing. Certainly it's a good first step. We are looking to update our zoning code, which is long overdue. 1989 was the last time we did our zoning code. So the board approved a consultant on Monday night. We're going to be jumping into that project with various stakeholder groups, the Plan Commission, the Zoning Board. I'm sure we'll have a variety of different stakeholders looking at upgrades to our zoning code. So that's kind of the next big step with this. Other partnerships, we talked a lot about partnerships in our first strategic planning session. We really need our partners to accomplish as much as we do. We worked with the Village of Lombard on a number of things and other municipalities. With a couple of folks from the Environmental Commission, we completed a sustainability study, and then we asked them to go back and get an action plan with that sustainability study. So that's in progress. We've got partnerships with the College of DuPage. Innovation DuPage is in our building. Everyone been to Innovation DuPage? Great incubator that's getting new businesses started and help to grow and then move elsewhere in the community. We've got our Small Business Development Center also in the Civic Center. We partner with the Chamber and Alliance on a number. The village doesn't really have any event that they run. It's all through other agencies. Alliance and the Chamber do a lion's share of that. So really rely on them heavily for our downtown events. Additional projects, we've been talking about e-bikes a lot lately. I had another meeting on Monday about e-bikes. Everything's e-bikes. Going to have another meeting in a couple weeks on e-bikes. So looking at how to manage those restrictions and where bikes should go and try to find that right balance between an alternative transportation, but doing it safely so we're not, so we're protecting our residents. I mentioned Panfish Park, McKee House, public art, done about 5 or 6 public art projects. Have a work group that's been working on that for the last 5 years and finding different partnerships. 4th of July Committee, I'm going to come back to that in a minute. East Branch DuPage River Trail continues to make progress. It's a county project, but the village is paying close attention. And recently, the village of Glen Ellyn, the village board of both Glen Ellyn and Lombard, kind of gave them a little direction that there's 2 different alternatives to the south end of this trail. Both are acceptable. Keep moving forward is basically what was the message. So we hope that project continues to move forward. I mentioned special events. We really upped the number of events. We really want to see more in the downtown and throughout the community because it brings people together, it gets people into our commercial districts and supports our businesses. So that's going to be a continuous effort. Does impact our public works, police, fire, but we want to continue to try to manage those as best we can. I kind of covered the Panfish Park improvements, but hoping to see more of what the Park District has put together of their master plan in the years ahead. But these are a couple examples of things we've done over the last year. McKee House. So we have a partnership with the Midwest Soaring Foundation to bring a Native American cultural center to the McKee House. That was a partner that the Forest Preserve supported, and we have a lease agreement with the Forest Preserve. So it's the impetus for this is to save a 1936 WPA building that still has useful life. If we can make an investment, we're looking for partners, donors, grants to make these improvements for about $4 million, and we're hoping that that partnership continues to move forward. East Branch we talked about. The Glen Ellyn Fund, I think we're still only one of 2 communities in DuPage County that has a Glen Ellyn Fund, which is the equivalent of Friends of the Parks or Friends of the Library. This is a group of residents that goes out and seeks donations and does fundraising for us so that those projects that don't have funding can find and secure some additional funding. Here's a sample of just a few kind of smaller grants that have been provided over the years. There's still fundraising going on for maybe even some larger projects, but this is a great way to if you want to support any of these things and donate to that cause, the Glen Ellyn Fund of the DuPage Foundation can support those that mission. And that's how you learn more about the Glen Ellyn Fund. 4th of July Committee. 250th anniversary of our country is coming up this July, I should say now. So we have, not everyone knows this, but we've relied on volunteers to pull off the parade and the fireworks, one of the staples of Glen Ellyn for decades. So volunteers have pulled that together, raised money, organized, and we relied more and more on a few individuals to do that. We are really looking to get more volunteers involved. So if you are interested, is that stay down here? Please write down February 4th. We're going to have a meeting at the Civic Center, and we're going to try to get more folks to come together to help with these planning efforts and celebrate the 250th anniversary as only Glen Ellyn can. So if you're interested, please come on out. 6:30 at the Civic Center in the Clayton Room. And then the last slide before I give it back to President Burket is just we want to be engaged with the residents. We want to make sure people know what's going on in our community. So here are just kind of the key ways to stay informed. Our e-newsletter goes out every week, rain or shine. If you're not getting that already, it's a great way to know what's going on. We do, I think, a pretty decent job of also listing all the events going on in the community, not just village events. So sign up for that. Emergency alerts, if you want to sign up your cell phone to get alerts because you no longer have a landline, or if you want to just know what's going on in terms of emergencies, and I mean like emergencies. We're not going to tell you that, what's a good analogy, that there's a event going on downtown. This is a storm, an event that you need to know. That's how you get notified. Social media, we're all over social media. And then See Click Fix. Anyone use See Click Fix? Great little app. It's a way to identify if there's a trip hazard or a light out. Maybe, Peter, occasionally I hear about a light out. Or a flag, yes. But that's a great way to just, you go into your phone, put in, take a picture, or you don't even have to do that. Just tell us where the issue is. We'll get an answer back to you when it's complete, and it just allows us to be most efficient and be most responsive. So check that out as well. President Burket, I'll let you wrap up. Thanks, everybody.
Kind of a kind of a hard act to follow. He's tall, relatively good-looking. He has full head of hair, and he knows how to use this.
That's pretty
I mean, so well. And walk around like Phil Donahue. That's fantastic. And here I just read stuff off of a sheet of paper. Oh, well. Before I wrap up, one more time I want to thank the Glen Ellyn League of Women Voters, and it's actually the League of Women Voters of Glen Ellyn, isn't it? I apologize for that. So I knew that like the third time I read it, I said, that's a mistake. Also, my fellow board members for their time, dedication, and their commitment to doing what's best for Glen Ellyn. Mostly, I want to send a thank you out to our village staff. Progress you've seen today happens because the people behind the scenes who care deeply about this community and show up every day to serve it. Their work and professionalism and the collaboration don't go unnoticed. And finally, thank you to the residents, business owners, everyone who lives, works, and plays in Glen Ellyn. Your engagement, feedback, and pride in this community are what make Glen Ellyn the village that it is. We're proud of where we are, excited about what's ahead, and grateful to be part of the community like this. And thank you all for being part of it. Thank you. Wait, I forgot. I would be remiss if I didn't introduce my family, who none of you know. Probably my wife, Kathy, who has to put up with a lot, and my son, Rollin, and I think everyone knows Tori Adachi, or they know Sally Adachi, but they know Tori Adachi. But thank you again to the league, and thank you for coming. And now we will